Hi, I'm Eugene Draper. I'm the president of Pacific International, and I've been helping bedwetters for 44 years. Pacific International has helped correct this problem for 57 years, and we've helped nearly 500,000 cases to date. See, bedwetting is a lot of different misnomers and misunderstandings about it. Probably the most common thing you hear about this, and you hear this from almost anybody, from friends, relatives, aunts, uncles, grandmas, even doctors, is don't worry about it, they'll outgrow it. Well, that's not true. Everybody does not outgrow bedwetting. Secondly, they tell you to restrict their liquids. Restricting liquids had nothing to do with bedwetting. If it did, everybody wet the bed. You don't restrict your liquids, I don't restrict mine, and neither do the siblings of the bedwetter. It's an old wives' tale, and it keeps getting repeated, and people think that. In fact, it actually exacerbates the problem by dehydrating the body and causing the child to sleep deeper. And that's what the problem is, deep sleep, which I'm going to discuss. Also, you're also told to get your bedwetter up and take them to the bathroom, and that actually trains them to wet the bed. Because what you're doing when you get your bedwetter up, whether you're using an alarm clock or yourself, you're actually walking them around in their sleep. You take them in, you set them on the toilet, or aim them at the toilet. You subconsciously give them a command to urinate or void. And what you're really doing is you're reinforcing or teaching them to do what you're trying to prevent. That's voiding in a sound sleep. They don't know the difference between the toilet and the bed and the sound sleep. So you put them back to bed, they wet the bed that night and the next night like you taught them in the toilet. The other thing is that this affects the child quite a bit. Their self-esteem, their self-image, they can't go to camp. And the reason why they have this problem is because they sleep too deep and incorrectly. Bedwetting is cause of deep, incorrect sleep, which I'm going to explain on a sleep chart here in a moment. Because this is a sleep problem, you need to understand what causes how that sleep occurs and also the importance of getting a correction. Let me explain. See, basically there's 4 stages of sleep. Stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're normal, you'll be the blue line. Start up and go down stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. Stay there for a little while, come up through 3 and 2. In between stage 1 and 2, experience REM, rapid eye movement. That's a process where the eyeball jerks back and forth rapidly. That's the dream state. You probably know that. But by depriving people of this type of sleep, they discovered that's where you're emotionally and psychologically resting. So the next day you can deal with your everyday stresses and strains and whatevers. Now notice on the chart, it took 90 minutes for that to occur. So normal means you go down to REM sufficiently every 90 minutes all night long. May happen about 4 or 5 times a night for the average person. Now the bedwetter tends to be this red line. They start up here and plunge down to stage 4 sleep rapidly. Stay there for long periods of time, have what we call rapid REM rise. Come up to the REM state, they wet their bed, and immediately go back to stage 4 sleep. They notice that only took 20 to 90 seconds for that to occur. So there's quite a bit of difference between a normal way of sleeping as opposed to the abnormal one that results in the wet bed. That's the reason why this problem can drive moms and dads crazy. Because you can restrict their liquids, told them before they go to bed. Sometimes they're wet within an hour after they go to bed, or 2 or 3 times a night. See, the bedwetting doesn't occur with your bedwetter or anoretic because they have to go to the bathroom. It occurs with them because they lose control in that incorrect sleep. The last 8 to 10 years we call the pull-up era. Most bedwetters are in pull-ups, either the regular pull-ups or even depends for the teenagers. And hardly a week goes by where we don't have at least a couple teenage adults or even adults that have this problem, and they're still wearing Depends. That's not good for them because A, it masks the problem. B, it gives them the message, well, maybe it's okay for me to do it. But secondly, and most importantly, it's not good for their self-esteem or their self-image. Because it doesn't take a young man or a young lady very long to figure out who's supposed to be wearing pull-ups. It's not them, it's little babies. Because this is a sleep problem, they have to have a proper correction to get bedwetting taken care of properly. A proper correction means that the child not only gets dry, but also can learn to sleep better more normally. And I'll conquer the problem so they move on and enhance their self-esteem and self-image so they feel good about themselves. Doesn't take a scientist to figure that out, because see, if you don't get a good night's rest, you could be not able to concentrate or focus or function the way you should. And these kids don't know they're not getting the right type of sleep. So when they get in school, they kind of have to rev themselves up to say what they're doing. So it's kind of a gateway for being hyper and so on. You can get information by calling 1-800-648-3379. That's 1-800-NIGHT-DRY. Night is spelled N-I-T-E. Or if you're on our website, you can get information off of it, stopwetting.com. Thank you.